recording now. Great. So thanks everyone for joining us today. I really appreciate your time. As I mentioned, we had a conversation prior to this with Steve and also with Matthew to kind of discuss our partnership and how we're going to be working with you guys going forward. How many of you were around before when you guys were partners with SpinifeX?
I think none of us.
None of you. Okay, good. Well, I'm good. I've got a slide that kind of covers off who we are, so I'm glad I included that. But just kind of a long story short, we have a long history with Energy, and we've recently reconnected, if you will, I guess, after a long absence, and we're very excited to be working with you and your team again, and really hope that today I can share with you who we are and how we plan on working with you as your partner to help you succeed in your sales efforts and in getting you guys the exposure and helping you get out there a little bit more. We do have a couple of deals we've been, I guess, opportunistic about in the last few years, but we're really hoping to really be a partner this time and be more of a go-to person that you think of every time you need something. And by that, I mean when you need something related to migrating to the cloud for a customer, or you're trying to sign a net new customer, things like that with SAP and or SuccessFactors. So we're going to go through today a slide deck, and it's really going to be mostly slides, but I really want this to be an open-ended discussion. So please ask questions and let me know if you have any concerns or maybe some ideas. I really like to hear how you guys sell and what your priorities are, so we can help make sure that what we're aligning to meets what you need. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It does.
Okay, fantastic. So let's just, I'm going to skip on over here. We just did a quick hello to everyone on the phone, but if you don't mind, just give me a 30-second synopsis of your role and your regions and what you're primarily focused on from a sales perspective. And we'll go ahead and start with Elizabeth just because she's first on my screen.
Thanks again, Chris, and hello again. Really appreciate you taking the time to do this. Sales enablement is essential. I've joined the team probably 3 weeks ago. It feels like 3 years in a very, very good way because there's so much to do. I'm looking after the U.S. Primarily right now in the Midwest states, and I will be selling all of Energy's offerings from SAP to Workforce to through UKG.
Okay, great, thank you very much. Next up, I've got Patrice. You're on my list.
Yes, I'm the regional as of January next year. I'll be in a role of the Canadian region sales manager.
Okay.
I've been with Energy for 2 years, but I know most of the folks at Energy before when we were with another companies in around 2008, 2010.
Okay, great. And so as the Canadian sales manager, are you responsible for everyone on the call, or do you have a specific region as well?
Ray's works with me, and GF is not on the call, and also Ivan, which is not on the call.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Race?
Okay, so I've been with Energy for 3 months, just completed 3 months, and I'll be responsible for everything that Energy offers for the Ontario region, the whole Ontario except for Ottawa.
Okay. I've been to Ottawa. I liked it. It was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Okay. We have actually the French school board is our customer up there. So I went up there, did some training. Not in French, mind you, but I learned some French while I was there. All right, Robert.
Hey, Chris. Am I on your list too?
You are last, but certainly not least.
Ah, okay. I hope it's a good list.
It is a good list.
So I've been with Energy about a year now.
Okay.
I came on board in a new role that they created. I'm the Alliance Director.
Oh, fantastic.
So, yeah. And what does that mean? I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm kind of working within the across all the practices, including SAP SuccessFactors, UKG, and workforce software. You know, kind of tightly aligned within that SuccessFactors practice as well. So I'm kind of, you know, working to cultivate those relationships. I focus on the U.S. I'm based in the U.S. obviously, and I live in Florida, and it's 75 degrees and sunny right now.
Nice.
So similar weather to yours, it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably a little bit warmer, and you have the ocean, so you know.
Those are two things. Yeah, two distinct differences. You have the mountains, so.
That's true. That's true. It's a trade-off, I guess. So that's great.
Yeah.
So I guess as working with the alliances, then you and I will probably have quite a bit of conversations, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think moving forward, we probably should, and you know, I think that'll take place. My focus has been on the service deliverables and the practices, but you know, obviously, any augmenting, you know, technology partners and things like that. It's all about driving that new business and expanding our, you know, kind of footprint as a company at Energy as well, particularly in the U.S. So, you know, anything we can do to help fuel that is you know, very crucial. So.
Absolutely. Do you handle marketing as well?
No, you know, we all wear a lot of hats, right? But no, we actually have a new marketing director that's been very busy because we're all throwing stuff at him. And that department is going to see some capacity, you know, in terms of the headcount support moving into 2022 as well. Okay. But yeah, we work very tightly with marketing, really all of us in sales.
Right, right. So, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's great. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit here in a minute about, you know, how we work with you on the marketing perspective. So that's good. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Again, appreciate your time. Just as by way of introduction, I'm Chris Burke, obviously, with SpinifexIT, and I'm the Director of Partner Alliances in North America, and I actually manage all of our partner programs here in the U.S. I do work on a bit of a global level in helping to maintain sales enablement and education materials. I do a lot of the marketing with our marketing team. I'm involved in a lot of that, probably more so than they would like, but I also wear a lot of hats. I've been with Spinifex almost 10 years now. I started as a consultant trainer on the solutions and then moved over to the sales organization, and then just in end of 2017, early 2018, switched over to this role here. And I really like it because I get to help you guys see what I see with SpinifexIT, and hopefully at the end of the day, get you guys that additional exposure you talked about, and that additional, you know, first thought of the customer's mind. Let's call energy and see how we can get this solution, you know, working properly and that sort of thing. Really just to be there for you. Of course, we have vested interest, and you guys do have a partnership arrangement with us where you do get commissioned on any of the sales for our solutions. So let's not, you know, bypass that. That is an important piece. However, really, we want to make it so you guys become a powerhouse out there in the industry. And that's what we're going to focus on today. A little bit about who we are, how we can help you, what the solutions we offer are, and basically the use cases around those. So I don't want to focus so much on the products per se, but the actual use case around where you might want to incorporate our products. So with that, let's just kind of move on to the next slide here. Really just kind of as in terms of our partnership and how we're going to work with you going forward. The reason I asked you guys about who's on the call and who will be on the call is because I want to get to know each and every one of your sales staff members very well, because each of you is going to have probably a focus. You're going to have a specialty. You're going to have experience in one thing versus another. Maybe one of you is talent focused, one of you is payroll focused. So I want to make sure that you as that person have what you need to focus on your sales. So right now in our partnership program, these are kind of the 4 steps, and these aren't, you know, by any means step 1's done and we're done. These are ongoing types of engagements with you. But the first step, of course, was our executive introduction and enablement. As I mentioned, Steve and Matthew have been through this presentation before. We've had that introduction meeting. We are in the process of setting a quarterly cadence with them, basically to make sure that the methodology and the, you know, goals that we've set for ourselves as a partner with you are being obtained and we're staying on track. And then, of course, there'll be that ongoing messaging. And right now, I've highlighted, we're right now at step 2. And that first bullet on step 2, where we're doing a solution introduction and overview on the use cases and sales plays reviews. When this is over, you're going to have these sales plays at your fingertips. It's a 1-page basically document that tells you if this scenario is happening, what should I consider from SpinifeX? So we'll go through those and you'll see that. After this call, I'm going to be working with Matthew on defining a monthly or biweekly cadence. What works for your schedule, is the best, and make sure that we all stay aligned in whether that includes one-on-one individual meetings where I meet with you guys for 30 minutes once a month, or if we do it as a team, I'm open to either. Sometimes the team meeting goes a little bit more, I guess, high level than it does on a one-on-one situation, but just know you'll hear from me a lot once we start registering deals and you start finding things for us to work together on. I'll be doing a lot of conversations with you individually to discuss those opportunities, to vet those, to help you understand how to strategically position SpinifeX solutions. And then kind of in addition to what I'm doing today, we're also going to be doing some sort of, a consulting and technical enablement. Steve's given me a list of folks to get your technical teams up to speed on our solutions as well, because they're a very important part of this overall partnership, right? These are the folks that are on the ground working with the customers. They actually hear pains from the customers. They can maybe identify for us some options and gaps where they might want to go back to the sales team and say, hey, we noticed they don't have payroll control center. They really could benefit from that. And loop you in, again, of course, improving your pipeline as well. So not to, just make this a sales strategy call, just know that we are also going to have these same sort of sessions with the consulting side of the house. Make sense?
Amazing.
Okay, great. And looks like we have a new attendee. Hello there. Hi, is this JF?
Yes, I was going to write, actually, didn't want to disturb. Very sorry. I had a important client call that ran long.
No worries. Business trumps my meeting, so don't worry. But thank you for joining us. Just to let you know, we are recording this session, so you can go back and listen to the first few minutes, no worries. But I did let everybody take about 30 seconds to introduce themselves. We can pause here if you'd like to just let me know your role and what regions you're covering there.
Yeah, sure. JF, I'm in charge of anything that has to do with UKG sales cycle, mainly in Canada and a mid-market in the US also.
Okay.
And I also cover our products portion, the add-ons, labor insight part, which are products mainly designed for UKG platforms.
Okay, fantastic. Great. As I mentioned to everyone today, this is just kind of, if you look at the slide right now, we're on this step 2 sales enablement. The first bullet there, we're going to be covering off the use cases of SpinifexIT solutions. Okay. And
Sounds good.
Great. And last but not least is down here, step 4, marketing alignment. As I mentioned, we do a lot of marketing with partners, whether that be a co-sponsored webinar or some, paper campaigns or any sort of event that you guys would like to host. So as you go through your day-to-day business and you're thinking, hey, I focus on, let's just say, the energy industry, and I'd really like to focus on something powerful for the energy industry. We have clients across the board. Our clients are global. They're every industry, every size that you can imagine. So we can help you with the marketing of maybe identifying some specific content for those types of things, whether it's in Canada or the US, it doesn't really matter. But we also have a lot of marketing materials and things like that you'll be able to share. We do a lot of internal webinars at SpinifeX. In fact, we just had one earlier this week. I will send everyone on this call the link to the recording. It was really fantastic. It was a Strato use case discussion about one of our customers, BHP, a global mining organization that actually chose our Strato document generation solution over OpenText, and how we were able to really improve their offer letter process and significantly reduce the amount of time and effort that they were using in that process. So I'll be sure to send that along to you guys. It's a great, powerful story. It's totally shareable to the market and that sort of thing. So we'll cover off that sales play as well. But I just want to let you know, this is how we're going to work with you going forward. We're going to stay highly engaged, highly motivated, and my phone and door is always open in here. If you have any questions or any needs or feel you're not getting what you need, you please contact me, because we want this partnership to be really successful. Okay. All right, so real quick, just because some of you are fairly new to the organization at Energy and maybe even, to the world of SpinifexIT, just some high level points about Spinifex. As I mentioned, we are a global organization. Our global headquarters is in Melbourne, Australia. That's where actually we started. But we actually have offices around the country, around the world. I mean, in the US, the UK, EMEA, and Asia Pacific. But we're really been around for a long time. We've very well known in the industry. We offer a set of solutions that really helps folks realize a better ROI with their SAP and SuccessFactors investment at the end of the day. Just one important thing to note, we are a software company, okay? You guys are the implementers. You guys do all of that work. We work with you as the software partnership. So we're not a consulting company. We don't come in and compete with you on any sort of implementation or anything like that. We are truly there to help you from a solutions perspective. We actually have thousands of installations around the world. Our largest customer actually is ADP. So ADP Global View includes our SpinifexIT solutions. So if you have a Global View customer, they're already using our tools. They may just not know it, but they are. And then we even have customers up in Canada. I think there's 200 folks at one of the customers in Calgary. So, we run the gamut on our customer size, industry, doesn't really matter. We are also available in the SAP store. So that is sometimes important. We work very closely with SAP. In fact, we have a very tight partnership with those as well. So if you're working with an SAP AE or a SuccessFactors AE on a project or a customer initiative, please let them know too, because it's really important that they understand who we are and the value we bring for them as well. We're trying to get the word out to everybody. I do have a counterpart. His name is Bob Ball. He is actually the SAP partnership relationship manager. So he does a lot of these types of meetings with those folks as well. And really, like I said, we've been around the block for a long time. We have a lot of customers in Canada, and we have a lot of references there. So it's really important to know that any of our customers, pretty much all of them are referenceable unless their legal teams say, no, we can't do that. So we have a lot of ways to help you, get the story out and in different fashion. Okay. Any questions about who we are and maybe why we're partnering with you? Okay, moving on. So let's talk a little bit about some of the use cases we solve as a solutions partner for Energy. So, there's a lot of things out there going on in the world today of SAP. And if every day I think I get a new email from SAP talking about something new they're working on. It's really kind of hard to keep up. But we have 6 core use cases that we solve for. And again, focusing on the use case and the solution versus the solutions is really important. One of the biggest things that we focus on lately is the accelerated cloud migration. And what I mean by that is anyone who is looking to move to SuccessFactors, whether it's EC, ECP, or S4, or even the PCE, the Private Cloud Edition that's coming out as well. We have offerings that can help you as a vendor accelerate that process for the client, meaning that you can come in a little bit cheaper and get the job done a little bit faster by using our solutions in that aspect. It actually helps you to de-risk the whole process. And the solutions related to that, as listed here in the top left, are Easy Migration and Easy Go Live, and we will talk about all of these here in a little bit. But that's kind of like been our, I don't want to say #1 focus, but it's been a very big, hot topic lately. Are you guys seeing a lot of requests or initiatives of folks moving to the cloud, to SuccessFactors?
All a SuccessFactors is by default on cloud. What we're seeing is the SAP ECC6, which is on-prem, or it could be on S4, moving to the SuccessFactors ECCP versions.
Perfect. So you're getting a lot of current customers migrating to the cloud, is what you're seeing.
Starting, yes.
Yeah. Great, starting to. Okay. Yeah, and what you'll see here, and we'll talk about that a little bit, our company started as an on-premise solution, and that has not gone away. We still play in that arena, but we also play in the cloud. So you'll see that here in a little bit when we go through each of the sales plays. Next up, one of the biggest things that we solve for, and actually kind of our origination of our organization was around payroll reports and reconciliation with our Easy Reporter solution. That solution is our flagship product, and a lot of the others that you'll see are actually built on that product. As you know, if you're familiar at all with SAP ECC, as I always like to say, it's a great repository of information, but trying to get that information out in any sort of meaningful fashion can be cumbersome, can be quite difficult, especially if you don't know how to build a wage type report or you don't have ABAP skills. Our solutions are actually designed for the end users, meaning that you can actually use our solution to extract the data very quickly and easily with drag and drop software and create meaningful reports. You can create things on a regular basis, on an ad hoc basis, a scheduled basis, that sort of thing, to really help you in your day-to-day business priorities there as payroll and or HR persons. So we'd offer a lot of advanced options here, including interface building, which is really key. Right now we're learning in a lot of our migrations to the cloud, there's very large requests for interfaces. So keep that in mind. A lot of our solutions can be sold kind of in a piecemeal fashion. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. Rapid Payroll Control Center, what this is this really is a solution that sits on top of the standard SAP Control Center. As you'll see, as you learn more about SpinifeX and you start to attend more demonstrations and learn more about the solutions themselves directly, our Payroll Control Center really gives the customer the flexibility to customize and manage the policies and all of the things related to the payroll reconciliation themselves versus having someone in IT or ABAP do this for them. So all of our solutions that you'll see are end user driven. We want to make it easier for the customer to realize those values and let the IT team go do something important IT related and not have to build reports or maybe change a file, that kind of thing that's going to a vendor. Really give them the power and empower the customers to manage their own business, right? And not have to rely so much on the technical perspective. One of the other big use cases we saw for is data cloning. And I know you guys up in Canada have a lot of regulations as we do here in the US and of course in the UK as well. But cloning information from one system to another is very tricky and sometimes actually quite cumbersome if you have to copy an entire database over every time you want to just test 2 or 3 people. With our secure cloning solutions, you can actually copy one or you can copy all of the employees in a system back and forth, and you can scramble data, you can do whatever you want to make sure that that data is secure. And all of this is done within SAP, so you're not downloading files to a hard drive or a shared drive. Everything's done within the environment, so it's really secure in that fashion as well. Payroll inquiry resolution. This is really important, and I'm a former payroll manager, and I worked on SAP for almost 16 years before I came over to SpinifeX, and I found it very difficult to answer employee questions when they called about their payroll. Why do I have a retro pay? What happened to my deductions and so forth? And if anybody knows anything about the payroll clusters in SAP, it's really hard to read them and not even read them, but just explain it to an employee. We have a solution that actually helps you when you get those calls to really keep those answers down at that tier 1 level versus having to go up the chain to someone else who might know or even a senior person, be able to answer in a one-stop desktop place. The payroll inquiry resolution, along with the cloning solution and the payroll reports reconciliation solution, are 3 of the foundation solutions that make up the accelerated cloud migration use case. So what's great about that is folks can get an easy look into the solutions as they're going through a project to see what they're going to need after they go live. So kind of a sneak peek, if you will, of the solutions during their migration projects. And then last and certainly not least is our document generation solution that I mentioned earlier on the webinar we had with our client. This is really a fantastic solution, and we've got a lot of customers using this from design and creation all the way to workflow signature and storage of their online documentation. And coming soon, we'll be able to store documents that are not generated in SuccessFactors. So if you have documents generated using People Docs or something else, you can actually store them in the Strato solution and have one place to research everything. So those are just some of the major use cases. There's obviously little individual reasons that you'd want to look at SpinifeX, but does this make sense? Do you guys see that this that any of these would be something that fits into what you're looking to do today?
It does, and I'm sure you're going to get into a more business type of pitch, where like an elevator pitch, so
Yep.
that we can set the table.
Absolutely. That's coming up next. Okay, great. All right, well, let's just keep them moving on. I do want to recognize the time. We have about 30 minutes left. I'll try to get, and this will go fast, but really what's going to happen is it's all going to be the same at the end of the day on the sales plays, but I just want to walk through a few of them with you. So let's talk about the use case for accelerated cloud migration first up. So really, let's think about when you're looking at a new I guess, initiative that comes in the door, whether it's through an RFP proposal or a current customer contacts you and says, hey, we're looking to migrate to EC or ECP. First thing you need to do with those scenarios is determine what type of customer is it. Is it a net new customer to SAP, or is it a current existing customer? And we've designed this little chart to help you navigate which way to go on those scenarios. So the first level over here, is the customer a net new customer or migrating? So yes, if they're net new, then you want to look up here at our Easy Go Live use case solution, because if they're not a current customer, the solution down below here, Easy Migration, won't apply. So that's why we're going to look at Easy Go Live for any net news. If you're an existing customer, we have two options for you in that accelerated migration package, okay? So again, this is just a quickly, which way do I go? New customer, I want to look at this. Existing customer, I want to look at these two solutions, okay? So what I'm going to do is just kind of go on to the next screen, which really explains that a little bit more. So this is our sales plays that I mentioned earlier. These are going to be your one-pagers that you're going to have at your fingertips. You can copy and paste any of the value propositions, the qualifying questions. It's really to be your guide in your discussions with the customer, okay? This first one, as you see here, is really only for on-premise SAP customers moving to Employee Central Payroll or S/4HANA, right? So what this means is ECC to the cloud, right? And as I mentioned in that previous slide, let me go back one, you remember at the bottom, there were two solutions down here that are focused on that, and Easy Migration and Easy Go Live. And the reason that is because the Easy Migration solution allows you as the partner to migrate all of the payroll configuration data to the cloud. Basically, it's your tool to use to configure ECP, all right? And as our partner, you guys get to use that tool free of charge. So that's really nice because you'll have a really good tool at your fingertips for your teams to use and migrating the customer's configuration, payroll and time configuration over to the cloud. What is the value of this solution? Well, the value for you guys is to reduce the overall cost of the payroll migration project. So if you're bidding on a project, or if you are trying to keep costs down, maybe the client has a very strict budget that they're working within, you've got an easy way to help accelerate and de-risk that migration by including our solutions here free of charge. So again, go ahead.
Chris, that's great. And would that create a dependence, an IP dependence to the customer? So meaning, would they, to move on, are they going to have to I guess buy or adhere to Spinifex?
Great question. Great question there. So as far as the migration to the cloud goes, it's a yes and no answer. So no with regards to the easy migration steps. Again, I'm going to flip back one slide. So this first box here, easy migration, this is the tool that you guys get to use free of charge to migrate that configuration data. These are just a few of the highlights of the solution itself. That's so your teams can accelerate that process. That's for you to use, okay? The second half of that is called Easy Go Live. This is really the end user customer phase where they do all of the activities for validating the data that was brought over. Maybe they've got payroll parallel testing they need to do, cloning some employees to test things like that. That's generally the activities of the customer, and that is a chargeable solution during the project only, and it's very nominal. It's a low cost, low time commitment, actually way for them to get exposure to the solutions. Of course, at the end of the day, Patrice, our goal is to have them want to buy the rest of the solutions so they can, going forward, see that extra value and return on their investment in the overall environment package. But again, that's where you guys come in. We're going to have you help us get introduced to the customer through this migration package, right? Show them the value, show them how you're making progress and how they can really succeed with tools like this in their toolkit. Okay. Again, it's kind of a land and expand.
That's what I wanted to hear. That's good.
Yep. So, and with that, so again, focusing on this specific scenario of on-premise customers going to the cloud, these are the things that you'll want to know. What are the business values for the partner? What are your drivers? The things that you might want to focus on. And of course, there might be some more here. These are just the ones that overarching that we've determined will be of value to the partners. Some qualifying questions. What do you want to find out from that customer? And really the section here in the middle, the qualifying and discovery, is really for us. When we get to the end here, we're going to talk a little bit how to register a deal with SpinifeX. And these are some of the questions I'm going to be asking you. So, and they might make a difference, whether it's a single country or global country rollout. For example, we're in 45, maybe 50 now countries, but there might be some countries we're not developed in yet that might need a little bit of tweaking or a little bit of customization, might be a little bit of cost there. But we're willing to work with you guys as the partner to help develop the solutions out, that sort of thing. But we just want you to make sure that you know these are some of the key things we're going to focus on. The value proposition of SpinifeX tools, what you're doing and why, and what is it built for. The other thing here is noted, and I think I failed to mention earlier, we are a SAP certified build partner, which means all of our solutions are certified by SAP. So there really is no worry there that we're competing or we're going to be causing some sort of ripple in the water with SAP. Okay. And just some of those value props there. And then on the right, really, this is kind of the key focus, the ideal customer. Who's the ideal customer for this migration play? And then what industries and who might be my target audience? And then of this migration to the cloud from on-premise, these are the two solutions you want to focus on. So really, this is designed for you as a salesperson to use as a ongoing enablement tool. These will most likely not change in the future, but if anything significant changes about how we're addressing the market, we will, of course, update these and send them out to you. But these will be available to you directly as well as through our partner portal, which we'll discuss here in a little bit. So does this make sense? I mean, what I'm talking about, yes, this is specific for this certain instance, but all the sales plays are written in generally the same format. What's it for? Who's it for? And what are the things that I want to focus on as a salesperson?
It does, and it's well done. It is a lot of information to intake.
It is. And and believe me, there is no quiz after this meeting, so don't worry about that. We're not going to test you on your knowledge or anything, but this is to get you started, right? This is to help you understand who we are, how we can help you, the games we play in, where do we play, where do we fit in? And then again, you're not sure, you read this, you think, I still don't understand, you call me, we walk through it, you give me the scenario, the situation, and again, you might come up with something that we haven't come across that might need to be important to include here. So you understand going forward. So again, this is just our introduction to SpinifeX for you folks. It's not by any means meant to be the end of the road. You guys are going to be getting a lot of things thrown at you, and it is like drinking from a fire hose right off the bat. But once we get a couple wins under our belt, I think the light bulb will go on and you'll be like, oh, I get it. I see how we're going to make this work out. But again, we're here for you as we go along, and just making sure that you have what you need to get started is really the goal of today. You know, we have migration, continuing migration sales play here for net new. Remember that chart that had the flow chart in the beginning? I'm going to go back up to that real quick. This one here, you got net new and you got current existing customers. So there's a sales play for current existing customers. Then there's also one for net new. Now, a lot of this will be repeat. A lot of the business value will be, and a lot of the people you're targeting will be the same. But the difference here is, again, down to the product level. If they're net new, there's no reason for them to have easy migration because they're not migrating any configuration from SAP. So again, it helps you kind of hone in on exactly what the scenario is so you know what solutions you're going to be working into your administration proposals and things like that. Okay? Make sense?
Thanks, Chris. I have a question. I really appreciate this intro to SpinifexIT as it is new to me, so I really appreciate this. Question, I know you said that you play in all different markets, all different sizes.
Mm-hmm.
So would you be able to give a range of the average size deal and what cost the clients are looking at?
Yeah, I can do that, I guess. We have, that's a great question, actually, that kind of something we don't really cover in this one, but let's talk about it anyway. So SpinifexIT obviously is not free. We do have a cost structure, and it's really based on 3 different pieces of criteria. Number 1, the size of the organization. How many active employees do they have at that moment in time of purchase? Number 2, how many countries are they in? Are they in 50 countries or are they in 3? And of those countries, are they countries that are already developed with SpinifexIT? And the third criteria is how many production environments will they be utilizing the solution? We do have clients, mostly in the sled industry, that have multiple production industries or production systems, and they need to load the software into more than one. So those 3 pieces of information are really what determines how we structure the cost. It is really at the end of the day based on the employee count. But there could be some additional customization and things like that that get rolled into that. Anytime you have a solution, a customer or a situation where you want to know a ballpark cost, you call me, we walk through those 3 pieces of information, and I can give you a range. We do have a lot of customers, like I said, on the multiple thousands. I think ADP even has a couple million using the solution, down to a few hundred. We do have a very solid mid-market, anywhere from 10 to 30,000 employees is pretty much our sweet spot right now. And we have a lot of folks that are in that education industry as well that have those complex, concurrent employment situations and things like that. But most of the time, you're looking at, it depends on what tool you're looking at, to be honest, but a core easy reporter solution for a SuccessFactors client in EC and ECP. I mean, if you're looking at, let's say 5,000 employees, it's probably around, and I'm just ballparking here because I don't have my price sheet in front of me. I want to say close, it's $100,000 maybe a year.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Chris. Very helpful.
Yeah, you betcha. And again, that's retail, and we work with you on every deal to determine what's going to be best for that client. Is it better that they purchase multiple solutions and we give them a discount, or are they only using it for certain things? So let's say the example I gave earlier of interfaces. Maybe you have a client who just has a really hard need to get their interfaces in order, and they just want something to help with that. We can sell you an interface package out of that overall solution. So that's why we work with you very closely, why I go sit down with you every time you have a new opportunity, and we vet it very carefully to make sure that we're presenting to you the best possible solution for that client. Okay?
Amazing. Thank you.
You betcha. All right.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Is the level of maturity of a customer an indication of the likelihood of purchasing any of the modules, or it's more suited to people are not too mature, they have either outsourced or not as much control on their payroll than they would like? I mean, because we have customers that are on both ends of the spectrum. Some of them are very mature. They know what they're doing. They have their own app appers. If it's on-prem, they have very strong pay managers, and some of them are just brand new at it, and they just need some help. So
yeah,
I'm just trying to see if there's a low-hanging fruit and that could be plotted with the maturity of a customer.
That is an excellent point, and one that actually internally we are working on as well, because in the past we've said every SAP customer could be a customer of ours, which in theory is true. But when you sit down and look at it, really, who are the target customers for SpinifexIT solutions? As you point out, there's some folks that have been using the solution for 20 plus years, and they've got it down. They can do it in their sleep. They don't need any help. They're not interested in buying anything new. Okay, that's great. But then there's also the new folks to SAP and SuccessFactors, or even those middle of the road folks who are like, well, we're using it, but we're really struggling type of thing. The best thing I could tell you right now is those folks that are solid with SAP right now, that like you mentioned, that they've got years of experience, they've got it down, they know what they're doing, they would be a nice target, but I wouldn't prioritize them. Okay, I would look at the folks who are either just starting out or have been using it for a few years, but really aren't seeing the value in all that investment that they made. And the way we can do that is help you position the solutions in a business case to go to them and say, hey, we know you guys have been using this for a couple years, but have you considered to improve your processes or to help realize some more return on your investment? Maybe look at adding a top up or a new solution to help you with this specific process or this specific challenge that you're having. That's where we come in. And so again, internally, we're starting to also back off of those solid SAP customers right now, because trying to change someone's mind that something that seems to work to them is not working really is just going to be a waste of time, right?
Good.
Until they have a problem.
When we're identifying target list, that's something to keep in mind. And where would that logic be captured? And so we just called you and asked you, does this particular type of profile make sense? Or
yeah, basically. And actually, I just made a note. So under the qualifying questions here, this section on the sales play, I'm going to add a whole new one. So thank you for that. It's going to be how experienced is the client on the system, because that is going to drive, number one, whether or not you want to try to go after them, and number two, how we go after them. Okay, it'll be completely different talking to somebody who knows what they're talking about versus someone who's net new to the system.
Thank you.
So I'm going to add a new qualifying question, experience level, because that is very important. And thank you for pointing that out, because like I said, we are just learning that internally. We have a project going on internally where we've hired an outside company to come in and help us with our sales process. And this is one of the things that just came out this week, which I just learned that really not every SAP customer is a good target. We want some solid low-hanging fruit targets, like you said, right? I think the one thing I would caution on the net new customers is what we've run into, and I'll just tell you from experience, is that the folks that are coming to SAP from some other environment, they're already spending millions of dollars, and trying to convince them that they got to spend just a little bit more sometimes can be a challenge. But we're willing, we've got experience in that. We know how to word things and help you position that correctly. So just there could be a challenge in that as well. But again, our conversations, as well as the conversations that you'll be having with our sales team, I probably should have started with that, but we have a sales team here as well. So once you bring a deal to me and I review it and I find out, hey, this deal is actually good, we want to work with you on this, I introduce you to the salesperson for that region, whether it's Midwest, West, or Northeast kind of thing. And that person, who is very, very qualified and very good at helping sell solutions, will work with you on presenting the best possible case to the client. I'm really responsible for getting things in the door, vetting them, making sure we're focusing on the right things, and then kind of doing a handoff to the sales team. So you'll get to know our sales folks as well. We've got a handful of them. Linda Bankhead and Ted Franks and Tracy Byler and Bob Ball also does some West Coast sales, but you'll be hearing their names, and they'll be attending some meetings as we talk about different clients and regions and things like that going forward. Does that make sense? I think we lost Patrice. So what time? We got 10 more minutes here. Is there any other questions before I move on? Robert, Race, are you guys, JF, you guys good?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, great.
Yep, good for me.
Okay, thank you, thank you. And I'm just going to kind of breeze through these real quick. Again, we have for our Easy Reporter solution, we talked about the reports and reconciliation use cases. There's one for here. This is our core solution. This is really where we shine. This is where we've got the most experience. So anyone who's either currently on-premise, and again, no matter their experience level, they're probably doing things manually. We want to help improve that, reduce that manual effort, facilitate the automation and process improvement goals, basically transform that customer to even prepare to move to the cloud if they're currently on premise. So again, there's a lot of things here that you can look at, and different types of ideal customer profiles for this type of use case. And under each sales play, it talks about which use case that is, right? For who's this for? Okay. Control center, same thing. I'm not going to go through all of these individually, but you kind of get the idea and the gist of where these go. Cloning, and then let's just talk about Strato. So just for a minute, our document generation solution. So do you guys do any do a lot of talent transformations as well as HR and payroll?
I'm unfortunately not the best one to answer that, since I'm really focused on UKG at the moment.
Yeah, yep, understood. I guess, Elizabeth, what are your thoughts on that? I know you're fairly new to the organization. Is there someone on your team that maybe not be on the call that focuses on specifically talent transformations?
It would probably be Mathieu, but I mean, I think the whole organization has done talent. No.
What? I'm sorry. What was the question? I had to step away. Were you asking regarding the talent functionality within SuccessFactors?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, in
Thanks,
terms
Bob.
of how we're structured from a sales standpoint, currently, there's no distinction to that level
Okay.
of module. Yeah. So, and things are changing in terms of how sales will be structured in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have specific salespeople. JF mentioned, UKG practice and,
Sure.
our products as his focus, and SAP SuccessFactors, whether it's a existing client or more of a net new, pursuit. It could be, again, fall under Reyes or fall under Yvonne. But I think we're going to be more of a geographic approach moving forward, and we're going to kind of promote all of the solutions in our bag or at our disposal,
Okay. Great.
which could be different products from different practices that we have.
Sure. Okay. Well, thank you. That's good to know. And the reason I asked, just so you're aware, because there might be someone on your team that's strictly focused on talent down the road, right? They're going to need to know more about this than maybe you are. But what we want to do is make sure you're across everything. So if you run across a customer who talks about they need to optimize their document management process, ding, 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 I've got to get SpinifeX involved, or I've got to transfer it over to the talent team, that kind of thing. So, and really, we started out, like I said, in the on-premise world, helping to fill those gaps in the reporting and the cloning and all of those needs that the customers had that SAP could not meet. And then we moved all of that also to the cloud scenarios. If there's still the same gaps in reporting, there's still the same gaps in cloning in SuccessFactors, EC and ECP, right? And even in between, a hybrid customer, we have a lot of folks who move to EC but keep their payroll on-premise. So we also play in that space too. But as far as the talent transformations, we really are fairly new to the market in this arena. Like I said, we had that previous webinar this week. I'll send that to you guys, and kind of start getting the juices flowing of what we could do and the options that you have. But really, we like to consider ourselves a competitor to OpenText. I'm sure you guys are familiar with OpenText, correct? I think everybody is. But what differentiates us from OpenText is our ability to sell what we call a configurable offering. Okay, what that means is a lot of times a client just has a need for offer letters or maybe total comp statements once a year. With a solution like OpenText, as a client, you have to buy the entire enchilada. You have to buy the whole solution, no matter if you're only going to use 1/10 of that. But with SpinifeX, excuse me, Strato, apologize, 1 second. You swallow there. We actually can sell you just that scenario. So if you have a customer who only needs to transform their offer letter process, think to Strato and to our document generation process, because we can sell just that one piece, right, of the puzzle. So again, this gives a client a way to transform their talent process without a heavy investment and do it kind of step by step, right? Just go into it with ease without having to buy this big, huge product that is going to go to waste sitting on a shelf. So again, these are some of the same qualifying questions and things you want to ask about those types of scenarios. If you get an RFP in the system that says we're going to migrate to EC, ECP, and recruiting, think of us. So if you look down here in the bottom right, there's some package use cases down here: recruiting offer letters, talent, total comp statements, talent scorecards, just to name a few. Those aren't all of them, of course, but just some things to consider. If client just has one need, talk to us. Let's see how we can help them with that as well. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, great. I know we've only got a couple minutes left and looks like we're losing folks, but I did just want to point out here and talk about our portal. I have talked to Steve about this already. The process here is you guys will be registering leads with. If you find a client and you think this is a good fit for SpinifeX, you need to let us know, right? There's a lead registration process where I'm going to show you how to go in and you just actually enter in a few pieces of data. It sends me an email, and then I know, hey, Elizabeth registered this customer. I give you a call and we talk about it and we vet it out and do that sort of thing. So this will all be in the deck. This is just kind of a little flow chart of how things roll. And then you guys are going to have access to our partner portal. And this is fantastic. It's actually in redesign right now, and it's going to be even better. But this is where you go to get any information that you might need, marketing brochures or documentation, or you just want to learn more about a solution. You could do it through our partner portal. I believe I've gotten everybody here signed up. If you've not received an email from our Zendesk system, let me know. I'll make sure that you do get set up or resend that email to you. But again, you'll be able to go out here at any moment in time and find what you need to maybe even talk to a customer or something you want to share with the customer about the solution. It's really just to keep you involved and up to date on things that are going on the partner portal. And you'll see up here at the top, there'll be promoted articles, things that are happening in the industry, things that are happening at SpinifeX, just to keep you up to speed on things that we're doing. It's going to be hard on every time we have a cadence call to tell you everything that we're doing. So we wanted to have another place for you to be able to go and also stay up to date on everything SpinifeX. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay, great. And when you log into that partner portal, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I said sounds good.
Okay, great. And on that partner portal, you see down here in the circle, there'll be a thing that says partner dedicated page. What that means is you click on that and you're going to go directly to an energy page that has things that are related directly to what we're working with you guys. So if we do a demonstration for a client, we record it, we save it out there so you can reference it later. If there's a specific PowerPoint deck that you guys use to sell a solution, we'll keep that out there for you. Anything that's directly related to our partnership, we will save to your dedicated page that you can always go back and reference. So again, I'll send you this deck and this recording, but this will also be available on the partner portal. Make sense? Okay. Last, oh, sorry. Did you have a question?
No, just saying, yep. It's data on mute and then go. So sorry about that. Yeah.
I know, you're fine. I'm just trying to keep us on time here. So last but not least, like I said, there is a lead registration form. It looks a little bit different than this actually live, but it's a Google form. I'll send you the link. So anytime you have an opportunity that you'd like to register with us, you just fill out, a handful of questions, and we just call you and we start walking through it and determine, is this really truly an opportunity? Like we talked about earlier, is this client a good client to target? What is the timing of the project? What exactly are they looking to do? So we can actually position the right solutions at the right time for you with that customer. And really, that's it. It's just it's a lot to learn, a lot to hear about right now. And this is my contact information, and I'll have it in my email as well. But please don't hesitate to call me or text me, or even just email me anything that you need. I'm happy to help. I know we've gone through a lot today, and we're going to be going through more. I think what the next step, and I'll confirm with Steve, is we're going to have a little more kind of targeted focused education. So we'll pick one thing and focus on that. Maybe it'll be migration, maybe it'll be Strato documents, where we can really sit and vet out for you exactly what you need to look for and how you can do it, and even give you some talking points and things like that in your conversations, and even talk about some opportunities. Maybe you're working today. Let's talk about them, see where you are. Maybe it's something we can help with. And with that, that is the end of my spiel today. Did you guys have any other questions?
Chris, I do, but we will connect individually, as you said, right? So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Just feel free to reach out anytime. I know you guys are most of you are up in Canada, I think, except Robert there. But I'll be here Monday and Tuesday, but next week I'm off, for the Thanksgiving holiday, but then I'll be back the following Monday.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right, great.
Thanks.
Well,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you all for attending. I really appreciate it. And we'll talk soon and have a great weekend.